And I'm back! Super early, I know, but it is officially October 31st, the day I am posting this, and the day I actually recorded and edited everything, so bear with me. But I figured since I wasn't able to get all of the Owl House characters done within the time period of October, I thought I would do a quick Q&A and then have the Chaz zombie skeleton drawing that I made when the merchandise came out, and I was very disappointed in what we got, so that is why I made the fan art of that. And it is within the realm of spooky month, so I figured why not? Right? You know, let's have fun. Let's go crazy. Not too crazy, because I actually have plans tomorrow, so I'm gonna try and speedrun this as best I can. It's currently October 30th as I'm recording this. Tomorrow/today is Halloween and I have plans, so let's get into the questions. Do you like the show Spooky Month? If so, what's your favorite episode and favorite character? Y'all are gonna hate me, but I've never actually watched it. It is in my watch later, however, I just never seem to find the time or get pumped up enough to watch it. One of my friends is super into it, and she always, gives me the bare minimum of what's going on, but, at some point I will watch it. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people really like it, and I see the fan art, and I kind of get excited because I like the art style, but I never can get myself to watch it. Next question. Out of all the Halloween movies, which one is your favorite and why? Also, have you ever played the Nightmare Before Christmas video games? And one last question, because why not when it comes to the spooky season? What is your favorite part of it and why? So, out of all the Halloween movies, that is my favorite. It probably has to be Chucky. I know that's a really stupid answer considering how hit or miss the franchise is and how long it's been going, but I genuinely enjoy the campiness of it. I think Chucky is a really funny film now that it's finally given the chance to be what it's always wanted to be. I still have a huge Halloween love for the original first film where it's a little bit more dark, but the camp is still there. So yes, Chucky is my favorite. I have not played the Nightmare Before Christmas game. I have seen a couple gameplays of it though, and I have been interested in playing it, but I'm not too sure. It's one of those where I'm I would play it, but I have to be interested enough to play it, you know what I mean? And my favorite thing about spooky season is pumpkin carving. It's super cliche. It's super not scary tradition, but ever since my grandfather introduced it to me, he's always been really into pumpkin carving and doing all that stuff. And after he passed away, I've just continued to do it. Though this year I'm a little late, so I still have it's being carved, but it's not done. I need to get that done because it's tomorrow today. Next question. Favorite Halloween candy? Okay, so my favorite Halloween candy is candy corn. However, my favorite candy, year round, is Butterfingers. So, until they come out with a Butterfinger Halloween candy, that will be my favorite candy, but there is no Halloween Butterfinger candy. I do not care what the packaging says. It's just Butterfingers in an orange bag. Next question. What are you gonna be for Halloween? I don't know. I'm doing a movie marathon with my friends today/tomorrow. So I don't think I'll be dressing up. Though I may just wear my Eddie Munson shirt, so my the D&D shirt, I hate that I don't know it off the top of my head, but basically his shirt from the movie, I'll probably be wearing that. I seem to always just constantly be Eddie every time I forget to do a costume, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna be Eddie. Next question, how do you feel about Agatha all along? I've not actually watched most of it. I think I've watched only episode 1 and 2. After that, I kind of dropped it because I didn't really care after that. I have a really big, weird, hate-love relationship with the MCU, and it's I love the originals, the original MCU stuff, so, the first Iron Man, the first of a lot of movies, but it's anything after the Guardians of the Galaxy. After that, I don't give two shits about anything that comes out because it's all just the same. It's too kiddish humor, it's too over the top, it's too saturated for one thing. That really bugs the crap out of me. You have no idea. But from the first 2 episodes that I saw, I mean, like, I liked the idea and the theme, and I liked that they had Kitty from That 70s Show, but other than that, I really don't care. Like, it's not for me, but if you guys like it, go for it. Next question, favorite monster or cryptic? Does, like, Eldritch horrors count as monsters? Because, like, anything that's, like, under the water, like, any, like, water type Eldritch horror, that's, like, my favorite kind of monster. It doesn't even have to be one specific one. Any kind of, like, fish-like Eldritch horror monster is my favorite. I don't know. But if I had to pick, like, a specific monster, it's a tie between, like, a Frankenstein and, like, a zombie. I know they're roughly almost the same thing, but, like, different. I'm doing air quotes. But for some reason, I just really like the idea about both of them because they're both reanimated dead, but, you know, Frankensteins are a little bit more aware and don't try to kill you. I mean, they do, but, you know, zombies kill because of a virus and all that kind of stuff. But I find them both really fascinating, so those are, like, my 2 favorite top-tier monsters. You know what I mean? Next question. Have you ever considered making a comic or writing a book? Yes and yes. I'm just super lazy about it, though. Like, doing a book is pretty easy. I have, like, a few of them in my back pocket. Like they're never going to see the light of day. They're just, like, ramblings. They're scribblings of a madwoman, basically. But they are books because it's a lot. But for comics, though, I'm, like, extremely anal about everything. I want it to look very pretty, very polished, and then I get kind of like bored after a couple panels, and then I kind of move on to the next thing. So comics and books, while yes, I do consider making them, they just, like, someone needs to watch me. Someone needs to babysit me and keep me on task, okay? Next question. Were you the type to go trick or treating? Big time. I don't think I stopped trick-or-treating until I was like 21 again, and then by then I was like roughly over my freshman year of college, and like no one wanted to go trick-or-treating. Everybody wanted to stay home, and like I couldn't going trick-or-treating with my friends was like pulling teeth. Nobody wanted to do it. They were all like, we're too old. I'm like, it's free candy. We're animators, we're nerds. Get out your cosplay, get your sack, let's go. Like, no. But yeah, I'm a huge trick-or-treater. I would still do it if I had like a group of friends that would want to do costumes with me, but most of the time we now just do movie marathons on the day. Next question. What are the top 5 hardest color palettes to work with? P.S. Love your art. It's amazing. Thank you. So, I don't know if there's that many color palettes that are hard to work with, but I can think of a few. So, weirdly enough, monochromatic is really hard to work with. Like, if you don't do a good solid balance, it becomes really difficult. Yellow is the worst color to work with because no matter how like dark you go with it, it always ends up looking kind of green or muddy or brown, and it's like, that's not the vibe we're going for. So yeah, yellow is number 2. Number 3, see, I'm trying to think. I want to say like I don't know what the color palette specifically is called, but it's like that muddy, grainy kind of color palette where like everything is more muted and like less saturated, I guess. I guess it's like another version of the monochromatic but with color, so that's really hard to work with because again, you're having a lot of like, if you don't spread it out enough or if you don't make the color saturated enough, it becomes kind of weird looking and kind of hard to tell what you're looking at. And I guess the 4th one, I know green is really hard to work with too because of the whole blue and yellow situation, because you can have like very rich earthy greens and then you can have very like neon nightmare greens, and like they clash like you wouldn't believe. It's so hard to work with green and yellow are like my kryptonite. They don't want to work with each other, and they don't even want to work with themselves, and it's just a freaking nightmare. For the 5th one, I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure there's one that I'm missing, and I think there is, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Like, it's gonna bug me. Watch. Next question. Do you think Hasbin would have been better off as an indie show on YouTube like Hell of a Boss instead of Amazon Prime? That's actually a really good question, because now that we have Hasbin Hotel on Amazon and we have Hello Boss on YouTube, we can kind of see like the thought process for both of them and how they ended up becoming what they are. So Hasbin Hotel, I do think would have worked better if it had stayed on YouTube, given the fact that because Spindlehorse is an indie studio, they have a lot more time and energy to put into what they want to put into, along with making the season longer. Like, instead of giving us 8 episodes, they could have done Hasbin Hotel as like 14 episodes within season 1, and like that would have been better. However, seeing how Hell of a Boss has been kind of like, okay, so season 1 is still really good. I still really enjoy season 1. I think the build-up is really good. There's a lot of like really interesting arcs that are obviously happening. It's only when season 2 kicks in, and like that's when I start thinking that the fandom may have pushed the writing a little too hard, like push their own fan ideas onto the writers a little bit too hard, because obviously the writers have started including like more fan-like things into season 2, and it's made season 2 very weird and wonky, and that's where I get a little worried that if Hasbin Hotel was on YouTube, I 100% believe that if Hasbin Hotel was on YouTube and like it still has the same amount of fandom and popularity that it does now on Amazon, the fandom would ruin it immediately. Like, we wouldn't have the perfect first season like we do with Hell of a Boss. No, we would get slapped in the face with fandom bullcrap left and right. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes fans do have really good ideas, and I don't think it's a bad idea for creators to, sample some of those good ideas, but it's starting to become really noticeable that the writers on Hell of a Boss are sampling a little bit too much of fan stuff, and it's just like, it's worrying. It makes me worried. I like, season 2 is just a mess right now, and I just know that if Hasbin Hotel was on YouTube, it would have the exact same mess, only it would be like 10 times faster and 10 times worse. So no, I don't think it would have been better off. So yeah. Next question. I do have a question regarding the Overhaul, that being whether or not you have their sexualities decided, and more on the Halloween side, what's your favorite horror film? Okay, I answered the bottom part. For the Overhaul, yes, I do have everybody's sexualities picked out, and I think I said a few of them. I could be wrong though, I might have to go back and look, but I will do like a mass post at some point about everybody, and like have their little bios here and there, so that way everybody knows. Though I think it's more fun if you can guess or see the characters do what they do, but I will give out the information. Just give me a few days to put it all together. Next question. Favorite Power Ranger? The Red Power Ranger. I have always been a red and blue girly, though every time I pick red. So, the Red Power Ranger is my favorite. Raphael is my favorite turtle. Kid Flash is my favorite Titan. Any, like, red-themed characters is usually my favorite, which is really weird considering I'm, like, very blue-based. A lot of my clothes and, like, for the longest time, my hair was blue, so take that as you will. Next question. I asked before, and I don't know if it's been answered, so yeah. Do you think because you're well known as a character design artist, it's harder or easier to watch animated shows? Or do you often study it and realize something is bad after the hype is over? I don't find it easier or harder to watch, because normally I can turn my brain off and just watch the show for what it is, regardless if I like the character design or not. However, it's like when I start talking to people about everything, do I finally like let it slip that, oh, I didn't like this, or oh, I would have done this, but no, I don't think it really affects me overall, because like I can still enjoy something without like liking what I'm looking at most of the time. But yes, to the last bit, I do often find that I study the show to the point where like I realize there's a lot that probably could have been different and could have been a little bit better. But I don't go absolutely insane with it. Hopefully that made some sense. Next question. Do you get burned out? Because your character designs are always so good. Thank you. Sometimes I do get burnt out, but not in the way that you imagine. Like, I tend to have, like, little pit stops of being burnt out, and then I just keep going. It's one of those situations where I'm like, why am I doing this? I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. Or, oh, crap, I don't have any ideas. And then I walk away and then, like, pace around my house for about 30 to 45 minutes and then come back and sit down. I'm like, why was I freaking out? I have so many ideas now. Plus, I like to give myself space. You know, I'm not constantly drawing. I'm not constantly, like, freaking out about videos and here and there. So I do give myself time and space to not feel the burn. You know what I mean? So, yes and no. Do I get burnt out? Next question. Thoughts on Amazing Digital Circus Episode 3? Oh my god, it's so good. So similar to Sarcastic Chorus, it's taken me a while to get invested in Digital Circus. Don't get me wrong, the pilot was really good and I did find a lot that I liked, but it didn't hook me immediately, and episode 2 was kind of like a weird, like, baby step situation where, like, I did like what they were doing, but there were a few too many things that I didn't like that kind of made me step back. But then they were like, episode 3 is gonna be like our horror one, and I'm like, horror, you say? My favorite genre. Let us go. Let us go. And, like, I loved it. I loved all of it. I loved, like, the jokes. I loved the setup. I loved, like, the little, you know, existential crisis moments. Those were great. And oh my god, Kinger. I already really liked Kinger in the beginning, and I love him even more. Like, never in my life have I actually ever cried over a show. Like, I've cried over other shows that, like, hit deep in my soul, but animated shows, not so much. Movies, yes, animated movies, I always cry. But animated shows, I don't really cry. But this one, oh my god, Kinger made me cry. I couldn't help it. I was so distraught, and I was like, oh my god, Kinger! Like, yeah, he's doing the whole, like, my dead wife trope thing, and, like, I'm getting kind of burnt out on that, but for some reason it just worked, and I love that he glows when he's holding his breath. Like, the symbolism, it was so good, you guys. Oh my god. Sorry. Next question. Cat or dog person? I am a huge dog person. I love dogs, though that might mean that I am a cat type person on the inside. I don't know what that says about me, but here we go. Next question. Do you intend to do any indie project of your own, like an animation or a comic, for example? So I kind of do have an indie project of my own that I am currently working on. It's not really an animation or a comic. It's kind of just the process part. So it's all my thoughts drawn out, basically. So I'll have a couple scenes here and there, and then, like, a full colored situation, and then the turnarounds and the character bios here and there. But as for animation and comics, that's a ways away. You know, like, again, I'm such a lazy person when it comes to comics. I really wish I could have somebody make the comics for me, or, like, make them with me side by side, because I tend to get very distracted when it comes to comics and animations projects regardless. So, but yeah, sorry, this is so last minute and so, like, up in the air and crazy and all that stuff. I thought about this last minute, and this is what happens. This is what happens when I think of things last minute. I'm tired. I need to hurry up and get this done so I can spend tomorrow/today chilling and watching horror films with my friends, because it's the one thing that, like, we all sit down and genuinely enjoy, because most of the time everyone watches their own things in their own rooms and it gets super lonely. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. There's no new members, no supers, nobody's gone to Purple Seahorse just yet, so I will keep track. I'm keeping track. But anyway, thank you guys so much for indulging me and watching this video on October 31st. I know you all probably have Halloween plans. Anyway, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. And for those of you who also want to support the channel, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if possible, become a member. It's right there at the bottom. Really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.